Don't forget your spare tire bumpers if you're changing out the wheels, maybe the tires on your Jeep Wrangler. We're going to replace mine today because the bumpers that I have on the back here for the spare tire are too short. What I'm talking about, if you look down the side here, and it might be a little dark in there, if you look right here, you see this bumper. Your spare tire is supposed to sit against that bumper to kind of help support it a little bit so it's not all dragging weight down on the back of the bracket that's back there. And this is particularly important if you have a heavier tire for a spare like I do. Let me show you on my wife's. We had to do the same thing because she went with a bigger spare tire with a wheel with a different offset. And offset is really what's important here because depending on the offset of your wheel, it can push the whole assembly out, which is what is happening. And if you look at hers, she has these bigger bumpers on here. I had that little stubby like thing on mine, and you can tell hers would not have contacted that if I didn't replace these spare tire bumpers. So of course, to do that, you have to take that big old heavy tire off the back. That's going to be fun. We're gonna take the tire off. I'll show you how to do that real quick and brief. All you have to do is pull the camera cover off. That takes an Allen wrench. Your Jeep comes with one that fits. And then remove the lugs. I have two regular lugs, and then down below here I have a security lug that requires a special socket you can see inside there to fit in a groove to be able to pull that off. So let's go ahead and get the tire off, and then we'll deal with those spare tire bumpers. Okay, first off, we're going to go ahead and remove the camera cover. It's pretty easy, and they even put a couple little illustrations down there for you so you don't mess it up. It's not hard to do. It pulls off just like that. It's pretty easy. And then I have security type sockets on here for obvious reasons. I'm going to use just a big old ratchet to take these off. So it should be pretty simple, I think. Of course, I do have to have another socket here to be able to fit over the socket that I use to take these lugs off. So I'm just going to loosen them up. Hopefully I can do it all by hand once they're loose, I guess. There we go. And they're not on there too terribly tight, so makes it a little easier for this exercise, I guess. Alright, hopefully I can do the rest by hand. And now we'll do the little star socket to go ahead and pull the bottom one out. And now it's just a matter of lifting the tire off. What I'm going to do is kind of tip it back on this table just so I can save my back and not have to lift it off the ground. Should be pretty easy. It's really not as heavy as I thought. Either I've gotten stronger or the tires have gotten lighter. I don't know which. But either way, that really was not too bad. Okay, we've got the tire off. Now, these are the little plugs, and they should just pull right out of there. That's the idea anyway. So, let me give that a try. Let's find out. I don't remember how I took the other ones off, to be honest. And that's how it goes. They just pull out. You can see the nibs here. That's where the new ones are going to go. Does take quite a bit of force to do that. At least that one did. That one was better. Kind of twisting at an angle a little bit. And they come off a little better. Now I'm going to clean that area up before I put the new ones on, and then we'll come back on. is these are a little oily. They must treat them with something before they send them, I don't know, but we should. And if I recall, they were a little difficult to squeeze in there, but you just want to push it into the hole. And like I said, they were a little difficult to get in, as I remember. So I'm going to work on that for a minute. They do go in because I've done it before. So let me do that, and then I'll show you when they're in. I've got them on. I could not get them in the holes without doing a little bit of trimming. They're a little bit loose, but that doesn't matter. The tire's going to push against them, so it doesn't really make any difference. This is how much material I had to shave the bottom part of those bumpers to fit them in the holes. This is how much material I took off. That's for 2 of them, of course, so not a lot. Now, the one difference between these and those, because the base on here is about identical to what I put on, these little nubs are hollow, so they squeeze when you push in, and that's what enables these to fit in the hole easier. So this company, what are they called? Energy Suspension. You need to provide these bumpers that are hollow on the inside, because otherwise, I don't know how you get them in the holes. I don't know how I got them on there before. Maybe I had to shave them before, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're on, so now I need to remount the spare tire. Okay, we've got it all done, put back on, pulled in the garage, ready to roll. Now, a couple things I want to point out. First of all, you can see right here, it obviously depends on what wheel and tire setup you have. I mean, my wife has the same bumper here, and you can see hers is a lot longer than mine. I'm down to just 1 notch above the base here, and she has 1, 2, 3, 4 notches above the base, and the tire sits out just a little bit because it's pushing on that, which isn't such a bad thing. Now, I will say I did have to cut mine down. Obviously, I had to remove from here forward. Did that with just a pair of snips. This stuff is just rubber, so it cuts very simply. In the directions, I think they show something like a hacksaw. That's way overkill. A pair of snips, I wouldn't use a knife unless you're really good with a knife and have a very sharp knife. But a pair of snips cuts right through this. You just trim right along the edge. That's what I did over here. See if you can get a better shot on this side. That's what I did here. I just cut from here forward, and you can see it's right against the tire, and I really don't have any kind of an angle on it. Maybe a little bit out, but very slight. Anyway, that's just one of those things that I think you kind of have to do if you put a different wheel, particularly the offset. It's really about the offset of the wheel on the back of your Jeep Wrangler or any other vehicle that has a carrier on the back. One other thing I do want to address, because I know it's going to come up, what about the weight? Do you have to put any kind of a heavy-duty holder on the back or mount like this? My wife's actually is very heavy. This thing weighs pushing 100 pounds. So I did put a heavier mount back here. On mine, it's still stock. I didn't do that because this setup is just slightly, and I mean slightly, 5 pounds, something like that, over the limit that you're supposed to have on the back. And honestly, these limits do have a built-in tolerance, so I'm not concerned about that at all. I think it's all good. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. Did you ever look at doing this before? Or if you go out and take a look at your Wrangler, you got a big gap between that bumper and your tire, and it's really doing nothing? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.